I'll turn my camera on.
Harold said you'll be monitoring as he leaves work and chime in when
Okay,
he can.
cool. All right, we are up. We are officially going right now. We are officially here. What is going on? My name is Kendrick Grey, the Dreadlock Blerd. As I mentioned before, we're going to be doing an emergency geek cast. By now, all you guys have heard the news. It's been all over the place. Anyway, about the passing of the Marvel Universe legend himself, Stan Lee. Before we jump in, let's say what's up to Kim McCoy, Enigma's girl, who decided to join us tonight. Katanni Bramhan, who isn't really feeling too hard now, but found the energy to join us with this live stream tonight, as well as Matthew V. Haynes, aka the Clockmaster, who is here also. The only one who is missing out is Mr. Harold B. Gibson because he is busy at work, but he will be chiming in later throughout this live stream. This live stream is not going to be long. We're not going to be here about 3 or 4 or 5 hours. We're going to be here a lot shorter than that. And we just wanted to jump on here and just talk about, the man, the myth, the legend, Stan Lee.
Stan Lee.
Yep.
Who throughout his entire most of his adult life brought the Marvel Comics universe to the point where it is right now. And it was just crazy. I posted a video early up on on YouTube about how and me and Tony were talking about this earlier about how the Facebook news feed was like slowing down. It seemed like
No, my
Facebook.
Facebook was down.
It
And when
seemed
I went on
Was it?
Twitter, I saw that a bunch of other people were saying the same thing, that their Facebook was down. And my mom called me asking me if I could fix her Facebook while I'm at work.
I mean
And yeah,
I mean
So
when
the new shut Facebook down too.
I
that's
mean,
the
it's
mhm.
it's a big coincidence if it did. It's just as soon as I got Facebook back up, that was the first thing I saw.
In fact,
Yeah, I
because
was on all day, so I didn't have an issue. So
I was on through my phone when I was taking care of some things, doing laundry and stuff, and like after a while, like in fact after I got the text from Tani where she asked me if Facebook was jacked up, I was like, I was okay on my end until then I got the same issue where it said that it was like just moving slow, maybe like what, an hour, maybe an hour and a half after that it was okay, and that's when and me and Tony were on the phone. That's when she told me that Stan Lee passed away. And I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And then as soon as I opened up Facebook, my whole news feed was just flooded with articles, posts from my friends about Stan Lee passing on. It's it's kind of surreal. It's really kind of surreal that a man like him, passed on like now. I was telling
yeah,
Tony that I'd hoped that we would have had more time with him at least until after Avengers 4. At least until after Avengers 4 we would have still he would have still been around, and then maybe then he could have just been like, well, my job here is done. I've gotten it to this point. Now I can,
let go.
Let it go.
let it
Yeah.
go. But
Yeah.
apparently, the multiverse wasn't looking for that. Apparently
Can't always get what you want.
they needed him now, and you know they usually say it comes in threes. We just lost. I forgot the guy's name. The guy who did the voice of HAL 9000 from 2001's A Space Odyssey. He passed away yesterday.
Wow.
So we lost him. So I think he was the first one. We lost a man, Stan Lee, today. I mean, I don't know who's going to be the third one, but I will definitely say this is the one that probably hits the hardest. I mean, this guy, you know, this guy's done so much. Not only just for Marvel, but he's done a lot for the comic book world in general. You know,
Yes.
Yeah.
it's just crazy. I mean, earlier this year we lost Steve Ditko, who was a part of Marvel. We lost him. So you look at a guy like that, and we know life doesn't go on forever. But you look at a guy like Stan Lee, and it's like the guy was 95 years old and still kicking for the most part. You figure you see that guy, you figure this guy will probably live for like the next, I don't know, 10 or 15 years or something like that.
Forever.
Yeah, basically, you think
Yeah.
a guy like that will live forever.
I had been saying it since his wife died last year, and I didn't know too much about them as a couple while she was alive. But just after reading their story and reading how they were together and just how much he seemed to love her, is I told Ken and I said, I don't think Stanley is going to live much longer.
Mm.
I don't think he wants to be here without his wife.
It's crazy you mentioned that because I had like a personal story that's very similar. Like my grandparents, my grandparents on my dad's side, my grandmother passed away before my grandfather,
Mm.
and shortly after she passed away, my grandfather was hurting, and everything was different. And I personally believe that Stan Lee had a very similar thing, as you were saying, Tani, with his wife, because that, and he was getting sick all the time, and then like
Yeah,
I heard this rumors of him like lashing out on people
yeah,
just because he was
I've
miserable,
I've
and
heard other things as far as his family is concerned, is how the
yeah,
treatment from the rest of his family was making him let down. So that's, I think a lot, his family, according to what I'm hearing, is that they made him sign a bunch of stuff that's now sitting somewhere. And they made him do a lot of things that he was not willing to do. Um, and, it's hard. It's a hard loss because of, you know, what he was mentally going through
hmm
at that time before he passed.
it's Oh, hold on. What? I'm gonna say my that volume's up. But me and Tiny were talking earlier, and we were pretty much saying the same thing. Like, after the passing of his wife, it's like, it's almost like the floodgates kind of open because you kept hearing about all these different types of stories, like, like being mistreated in like certain like hospice cares and stuff like that. That whole sexual harassment thing that came about with him and all that. And it's just you just sit there and think like the guy, he just lost his wife. He's really up there in age. He's still trying to be optimistic.
still grieving too. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Still trying to be optimistic about everything that's going on around him, because despite what people have been saying about the situation, people still love him. Even the
Mm-hmm.
fact that there's a lot of conventions that he removed himself from because he just didn't have the energy to be there. I would remember seeing certain tweets and stuff from him saying that I would love to be here, but I am not going to make it and stuff like that. But like even through all that, it's just the still thing. It's still the comic book fan in us all that just hope that he would have lived just a bit longer. But when you hear people say that people die from a broken heart, that thing is real. That thing is absolutely real. Like when your emotions can't take the loss of someone you really love, it it destroys you. It really destroys you. I think Stanley held on for as long as he could, but I think ultimately he was just probably ready to go. You know, I think he knew, or I think he felt deep in his heart that he's done all he could with his wife, and he really just wanted to be with his wife. I think that's
yeah,
really I think he just really wanted to be with his wife. But you know, be that as it may, that still leaves us in a position where it's like, damn, one of the last comic book icons for who's lived for decades is gone.
The
Now,
creator of the first black superhero
Mm-hmm.
it's
is gone.
this is the guy who created Spider-Man, probably one of the most relatable
Yes.
superheroes to ever be drawn.
yep,
He's. I mean, I've said before that I have always been more of a DC fan. I've always enjoyed their
Mm-hmm.
stories and their characters, but I would be very remiss to say that the characters of the Marvel Universe, if they're not the most complicated characters that I've ever read, I don't know any others that exist. he wrote about a character that had an alcohol problem in Tony Stark. He had, he's written so many different personal stories, like characters that have like real demons and stuff. But at the end of the day,
you mentioned that. I just want to add to that too, like the whole inner demons thing. He had a way. I saw a video on his Instagram that someone posted, I think, like a few days ago, and it was saying that they were able to tell certain real life problems like drug abuse and all these things without being too preachy or being like, hey kids, don't do drugs.
Don't do this. Exactly.
It wasn't like that. It was in a way that people of all ages could really say, man, like, Dr. Ock, like, he's going through this problem, or, Tony Stark, like, this man is struggling, like, and real life issues, and they represented, like, so much. They just represented the fact that people can be better.
Yeah.
And they can get better, gave us hope.
In fact, I remember, I think, as far as I know, I think Marvel Comics might have been the only comic book to really tackle the effects of September 11th. I still have yet to pick that issue up, and I really want to read it, but I remember seeing it in stores, and I was saying to myself, wow, it's amazing that Marvel, a comic book company, would actually tackle issues such as September 11th. I mean, granted, we tackled issues like that before. I mean, Captain America is a character that fought in World War II against the Nazis. So he deals with that, with the rest going on it. But something so close to home and so recent, and for him to have the foresight to create a comic book surrounding that issue, and how the Marvel superheroes, not only the superheroes, but superheroes and supervillains of the Marvel universe, how they dealt with that situation. That is a comic book I am dying to pick up, and I hope to find it one day. But you got to give credit to a man to think about that. He saw a situation, and he threw it, and he put it in the context as to what if the superheroes saw something like that and they couldn't do anything to stop it? How would that reverberate throughout the Marvel universe? So I just thought, like,
I'm still here, guys. I just had this. I just have to switch cameras.
Okay.
Man, everybody coming out with the cost, man.
See, this weather change is screwing a lot of things up. That's like
hot, cold, warm, hot, fall, summer, winter.
Yeah.
It's not good at all.
It's really not.
I got a question for you guys. Have you guys seen Stan Lee Superhumans at all?
I have.
You've seen it, right?
No, I haven't.
I actually enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a great deal. I thought it was really cool. Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah,
it was like a few years back I watched that.
I think they stopped doing it after a while.
Yeah, they did.
But, I know recently, it's crazy. I don't know how much input he actually had within this, but recently he was still making brand new comics, brand new characters.
That's
like
right.
He was still doing that, like new characters, new comics. So I don't know how much involvement there was with the creative process. With him. But it's crazy. 95, and like you mentioned, still kicking it. 95, still doing this thing, going to charities. And I talked a little bit about this in my live stream earlier. Like, this man, I've seen him go on smaller YouTube channels that had like 500, subscribers or so, and like go and do interviews with them and talk with them for like 20, 30 minutes. Like, a lot of people don't do that.
He believes in a dream, and that's the thing. And that's like he knows what it feels like to be that person with a dream and with a thought and with just an idea, and to see like that growth. That's what I admired about him so much, is that he can see the potential in a lot of people and a lot of things, and he wasn't afraid to take a risk and to do anything. And you don't see a lot of that anymore these days. Like we were talking about that the other day, how people they stick with what they do, not Stanley. Stanley's like, you know what? I think this is going to work. And let's give it a try. And if it doesn't work, we'll move on. And, you have...
Tony mentioned it earlier, Black Panther, Jack Kirby and Stan Lee, Black Panther. That's a huge risk back in that time to make a story like that. So...
I mean, if we all really think about it, Stan Lee himself is like probably one of the oldest nerds to have existed. You know, I've been going through my Instagram feed throughout most of the day and just seeing, you know, all the people that I follow who have taken pictures with him, like Bat in the Sun, Jason David Frank, Brandon Mullally, just all these guys, celebrities and regular people alike, that have met this guy, and that just goes to show you that Stan Lee didn't put himself above a lot of other people. You know, we've talked about this before. You know, like a lot of these celebrities, they get to a point where it's like they feel like they're too big for their britches, and they can't relate to the people that actually are fans of their stuff. I mean, I can name a few celebrities off the top of my head that I've met that were kind of like that. But Stan Lee, I think first and foremost, I think he's said this himself, that first and foremost, he's a comic book fan and he's a comic book nerd. He's a nerd. He's admitted that, and I think he holds that. He's always held that in high regard, as opposed to being the father of Marvel. That's always been his thing. Like, even, I mean, think about it. He could have easily, think about it, we've had 10 years of Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. There could have been, at any point within those 10 years, he could have probably written a bigger role for himself in these movies. But no.
He didn't.
Yeah, he didn't.
You know.
Humility, man.
Think about it. He's been in every single...
And he took pride in everything he did.
Exactly. I mean, this guy has been in every single... He's been in every... I mean, I can't think of not one Marvel movie that he wasn't in. He's been in every single Marvel movie that's been created. Even the ones that were not attached to the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
The game... Don't forget the games, too, and animation.
Yes.
The animation, TV shows, you know, voiceovers.
Like, he even showed up in Teen Titans Go to the Movies. He showed up in that.
I didn't even know that.
When if you look it up if you can find it on YouTube, when I saw it, I bugged out. I was like, Stan Lee is up in here on Teen Titans Go to the Movies, just chilling out. I'm like, now you like, at that point, you have nothing but respect for the man. At that point, like,
honestly, yeah.
I mean, my man. You just jump to DC side, say what's up, and then pop right back out. Like, come on now. Like, you gotta respect and love the man for that. Like, you just have to do that.
Yeah.
But you know, it's definitely not gonna it's not gonna be the same for a while. Now,
No.
you know, it's not. It's just not. You I mean, we got 2 more Marvel movies coming. We have Captain Marvel, and we have Avengers 4 next year. Now, I have seen that he already filmed his, you know, cameos way before ahead of time. So we will get to see him 2 more times, you know, very soon.
It's just upsetting that he's not going to see the finale, as you mentioned, as to how this all wraps up. I just wish that he, you know, within all of this, because I know Avengers 4 is still in production, so they're not even close to finishing editing that thing. I wish I hope he had seen at least some of it.
Yeah.
Some of it, you know, because I don't know. It's gonna be hard, you know. It's gonna be so weird, and people are talking about them doing a CGI cameo. It's not gonna be the same.
No.
And they shouldn't do that. And they shouldn't do that.
They really should not do that. That would
it defeats the purpose.
Yeah,
right?
It does.
I'm like, it's so disrespectful to do that, and you know, if they're not gonna do that, and you know, it's oh god, I can't get the words out. I'm so upset right now because it's just the thought process of just doing that to a person and just to make money or just to, I know, like, it may just be like just to honor him. Let me just throw that out, like, just to honor his memory. But every movie should be an honor of his memory from the here on.
Really.
You know, and that should be enough. You know, we shouldn't. I mean, we should. These last couple of movies, we'll appreciate and we'll hold on to them more because the fact that this is the last time he's going to be in any movies, and I think that should be everything at that point.
Yeah.
We shouldn't get any more cameos, any more anything. We should be able to kind of just move on.
Yeah.
You know, with that, and I think that's what he would really want, is for us to kind of move on and away from this.
Yeah.
Because they were talking about doing that with Carrie Fisher for the next movie, which I heard they already did already. doing like CGI, and I don't like General Tarkin for those who watch Star
But
Wars.
they're not.
You know? But it wouldn't be the
Yes,
same.
Yeah.
but the thing is that my understanding with that is that they were not going to do that with her because they really did not want to do disrespect for her in that way because of the fact that she's just that iconic of a character.
And they shouldn't. They really shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Before we continue, do we have any like comments or questions happening in the chat at the moment?
Not for you.
I mean, we just have some people saying that that they miss him. They hope that Marvel had him record a whole bunch of green screen stuff to use in the future movies and like blooper reels and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, pretty much everyone is just showing love and respect, and they just miss him. You know, that's what I'm seeing on my end here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's wild. It's wild. It's been a wild day.
Yeah.
And you know.
This is the last thing you expected in the middle of the day today.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It was the last thing to expect. You know, to kind of have to like, because I rushed home as soon as I heard. You know, I was out and about, and I rushed home just to read and hear because I had to make sure I wasn't going crazy because you get a lot of these fake stuff now and
no, the first thing I did was like when I see people posting about someone dying, I go right to Google and see what's really up.
Yeah.
And
but I had to make sure. I'm like, because I didn't want to, fall victim to one of those, fake pranks or anything like that. Because at first I really, truly was like hoping it was one. And I really was. And I was sitting there like, no, this just can't be. I'm going to go home and it's going to be fake. And no.
Well, like right when after it happened, I was driving and my boy Joey texted me right away. And, he's like, yo, Stanley died. I'm like, nah. And then, some other people texted me, and I'm like, okay. So I pulled over, and I saw Hollywood Reporter. I trust Hollywood Reporter, and I saw that, and I was like, and the thing is, because he was so sick and like this stuff was going on, I had a feeling that he was going to pass. Like I had a feeling it was going to happen, but I wasn't expecting it to happen so soon.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe you're gonna get like another year, 2 years out of him. You know what I mean? Like, but I didn't expect it, especially not today. And that's the thing about death. You don't expect it. And when it hits you, it's like, dang.
Yeah.
Where did it come from?
Like, you just chilling, driving, eating Chipotle, whatever, and you get a text message, Stanley's dead.
But oftentimes that's kind of how it goes down. Usually, like I remember, I mean, shoot, I remember when Michael Jackson died. Like
that's exactly who I was gonna compare this to. It was that was the exact feeling I had. Like my stomach dropped from everything dropped to the floor.
I remember
when Michael died.
I remember chilling at home, and I'm like, I think the first place I might have saw it might have been on Facebook, I kept seeing people post it up, and I'm like, stop playing, y'all need to stop joking around and stuff like that. But
yeah, exactly.
Then I turn on the news, and I'm like, is this like some like kind of like elaborate joke or something like that? Because Michael Jackson doesn't die. That's not something that happens.
That's not supposed to happen. Yeah, right.
What a way to say it. What a way to put it.
Seriously though.
Yeah, he was very young. Yeah, he was young.
He's getting ready for his show and all this other stuff. I'm like,
I think that was the most impact of it was the fact that he was just planning this brand new show and it was going to be awesome and it was going to be amazing and we were ready for it and it was like
I was planning a trip to London. I'm like, spend all my money. I'm taking this flight. I'm going.
And then when you hear that, I was like I was like, celebrity deaths don't usually affect me too much, but I will say, aside from Stan Lee passing on, that when Michael Jackson passed on, I was like, this world doesn't feel the same anymore.
No, it definitely did not.
And it's the same way with Stan. It's like, this guy's been around for like years, just like putting all this stuff together, making these things happen. I'm like, listen, that's why I said like he took Marvel to a point that they probably didn't even dream of. Like, I mean, these days people dream about making a movie like a dime a dozen, but like, who would have thought we would have came to a point where we would see Captain America,
Yeah.
Thor, Iron Man, you know, Black Panther, Thanos. Who would have thought we would have seen these type of characters in the movies? Because remember, for a good while, Warner Brothers and DC had the game kind of on lock, but then Marvel just came in with the perfect formula and
Mm-hmm.
just took over the game. And then and who was there just chilling in the cut? Stan Lee. Just chilling in the cut, chilling with his cameo, and he was good to go.
I mean, it's so weird because it's like, you know, when you say, for me, Morgan Freeman has always been old.
Yeah.
Like, he's just always been old. So it's like, if I see a young Morgan Freeman, it's gonna be weird to me. And it's like, I grew up with Morgan Freeman being old. Same thing for Stan. I just grew up with Stanley just being there. Like, he's just there.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it's just there. You don't think anything of it. Like, nah, man, this man's immortal. No, it's not. No. So, like, when he started getting sick, that's when I really got worried. I started getting really worried. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
all right, Stanley, stop getting sick, man. Come on now, don't do that. You know, and it still hasn't hit me yet. It still hasn't hit me.
I mean, thinking about it logically, he was 95.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, and
that's exactly where I'm at with that too.
I don't know. It's like you knew he didn't have a lot of years left, but it's just like I don't know.
You were still hoping for it. You were still hoping for it. You know he didn't have it. You still were kind of holding on for that little bit, like that selfish bit that we had left. You know, I'm like, and you look at all these other people, like, you know, Hugh Hefner and all these people that like they never die, and you're like, no, he's gonna be the next Hugh Hefner. This guy is like too fun loving and too caring, and you know, and it's you know, it's hard to say goodbye, quoting a Boyz II Men on this one, but you know, we've lost one, but we gained a lot from it. And that's one of the benefits to this.
He left behind such one, like what I believe one of
How old was Hugh Hefner when he died?
Huh?
How old was Hugh Hefner when he died?
Let's see.
Google.
Yeah, I got you. Hugh Hefner. God.
'91.
Yeah, 91.
So not that
last year.
Not that far off.
I totally forgot he passed too, man. It's crazy.
All we have left is Betty White.
Don't take Betty.
Nah, don't leave Betty alone.
Leave Betty alone.
Who else is in their 90s?
You know, all these like pioneers, it's just like leaving, and it's just like it's almost like, what do you do? What do you do next? You know, but
who else?
I'm more or less happy that Stan, you know, he left his mark on the world. He left his mark on the world, and it's no better way to leave this earth than knowing that you've made billions of people happy throughout your entire lifetime. You've touched people that your name will be remembered. It sucks if you die and no one even remembers you. No one knows who you are. You haven't done anything to impact the world. And that's I think that's one of the worst feelings you could ever have when you're about to pass away, knowing that you haven't done anything to impact anyone, even much less one person. So I think we can take away that he was old but he did a lot. And he touched the world, literally changed the world, literally.
He did as much as he can to change what the view of a lot of people are too, especially like looking how look at how now, little boys look at, little black boys look at superheroes now.
Yeah.
Being a superhero. They now know they can be something.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to, be what society tells them. Because Stan Lee said, I can be Black Panther, or I can be Spider-Man, or I can be this, and I can be that. It doesn't matter my age, my gender, my race.
I just came across his Hollywood star people paying tribute.
Mm-hmm.
And going back to Michael Jackson, I was in California when Michael Jackson died. So I was there at the vigils that they had. So scrolling through here just made me remember that.
One thing I will say though, whenever that funeral service is going to be, trust me, there's going to be a lot of people.
Oh yeah,
a lot of people there. It's gonna be stuff. It's gonna be stuff to the gills. I haven't really read a lot of the other tributes yet on Twitter. I just seen a couple on Instagram and Facebook and stuff. But I seen some from Lou Ferrigno, who played the original Incredible Hulk on the TV show.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure everyone from the Marvel Cinematic Universe is really feeling it right now too. So one thing I can say, I'm definitely looking forward to Captain Marvel and Avengers 4 and see how they pay tribute to their creator.
I actually just read that Stan Lee's last cameo will be in Spider-Man: Far From Home.
Wow.
Oh wow.
Okay.
So they went even that far. Wow.
All right. So.
Okay.
As one of my friends said, even though he's gone, he's still blessing us. He's still blessing us. Yeah. So.
Oh, I can't imagine how the theater is going to be when he pops up on screen.
Yeah.
Do you think now at this point that even with the movies now, do you think that they're going to be more impactful now, or you think that more people are going to start showing up to Marvel movies just to support the fact that he's gone?
That's a high possibility.
Yeah, I can see that. I was about to say unless they're not true Marvel fans, unfortunately they might forget all about it.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah,
no, I think they will.
So
I think the passing definitely. I learned a lot of people, because there's a lot of people who don't even know who he was,
mm-hmm.
and so I definitely believe that him passing is definitely gonna cause more people to, I guess, learn more about him, and maybe cause them to be more motivated to see. Oh, I want to see his next cameo. I never seen it before. Or I never really knew anything about this guy. I want to see Captain Marvel now because I want to see this guy pop in. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some people out there. I don't know if it's going to be an overwhelming amount of people though, but I do know there are going to be some people like that.
I think I heard at some point that they were trying to put together a biopic about him. I don't know if that was sidelined or something. I'm not quite sure, but I remember hearing words about that. Maybe 2 years ago, they were talking about doing a Stan Lee biopic. That's probably going to be something they're probably going to kick into high gear now that he's gone. And I got to read more into that. But it's funny because earlier today I was trying to think of.
Oh no.
What happened?
I'm sorry. I'm reading someone comment. Someone, damn, he really died on my birthday.
Wow. That's
someone just said his last cameo. It's crazy. I didn't even think about this. His last cameo will be his favorite character and first character that made him popular, Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Think about that. That's crazy.
Yeah, I caught that, but it was, I'm wondering if they did that on purpose. That's kind of where I'm at with that.
Man,
I'm wondering.
Look, don't wind up my conspiracy mind now. Don't do that, because once you wind that up, there's no stopping it. There's no stopping it.
I'm wondering if they just totally did that on purpose. Because I was gonna mention it, and I was like, maybe they wanted it that way, just to pay homage to the fact that that's his favorite character. and that's that's his character, that's his baby.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's kind of where I was kind of leaving it at. I didn't want to wind you up or anything like that.
No, I know.
Matthew was about to get it in real quick.
No, I was not. Not now. It's not the time.
But I was saying,
Read videos later.
Yeah. But I was saying earlier that I was trying to figure out which cameo was my favorite, because, like I said, he's been in every single Marvel movie up until now. One of them that comes off the top of my head was him in the first Iron Man, actually. When when Tony went to that gala event, and he complimented him, saying looking good half, and then he turned around. I was like, and I'm like, you're just killing two birds with one stone right there. I'm like, that's just really ingenious to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember his first speech.
Mine will forever and always be packaged for Tony Stank.
Oh my god, that is the greatest.
I think that's like my number 2 right now. Actually,
that is the greatest. That was probably the greatest spoken cameo that I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my god!
To this day, I still say Tony Stank.
Tony Stank.
Because
oh gosh!
It was too fantastic. It was just
that
fantastic.
was wonderful.
I think one that was really good that I personally enjoyed was when he was talking to the Watchers and he was telling them, but he was kind of giving them a rundown of his his cameo jobs. Yeah. He's like, man, I used to work as a mailman back in those days, and he's referencing his Fantastic Four entrance when he was the FedEx dude. Remember? Mm-hmm. I mean, the FedEx dude, the guy who's bringing the mail in the hotel or whatever. Yeah. And like, kind of like giving a rundown of all his cameos. I'm like, man, this man chilling with the Watchers. I'm like, how'd he even get there?
I thought that was really dope. I thought that was really dope.
It's just too many good ones to remember. I mean, not to remember, to like it's just like you're going through your head and you're like, man, I really can't pick one because it's just so good.
Wish me luck. That's tomorrow doing a top 5 video. Wish me luck. That's gonna be hard.
I was there's a video out right now about every single Stan Lee cameo that there's been up to today. I'll probably go watch that later after I watch the Elseworlds trailer. I even like the one back at Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, where he cameoed basically as himself and saying that he was on the guest list. And they were
yeah.
They were trying to tell him that, nah, you're not Stan Lee. Like that's really me, Stan Lee. But then and then of course, I'm sorry, but his cameo in Teen Titans Go the movies is hilarious. Like, if you have to watch it, whenever you get a chance, go look for it on YouTube. It was the funniest thing I'd ever seen. Because he's chilling in the back. The Teen Titans are talking, and he's chilling in the back doing the Spider-Man, thwip thing. I'm like, what is wrong with this guy? It was hilarious.
Really?
Yes. Go look it up when you get the chance. Please go look it up. It was the funniest thing I'd ever seen.
Cool.
No way.
But it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be a rough couple of movies.
It's gonna be emotional when you see him.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing, is that now it's gonna trigger an emotion rather than that laugh that you usually get from him. You might just you might laugh but then shed a tear.
I'm actually thinking, because I know Spider-Man is his baby, and I know there's probably going to be some emotions with that cameo, but I'm wondering about Avengers 4, because if you think about it, Avengers 4 is the end of an era. We're talking 10 years of movies, and there's a lot of stars not coming back. Chris Evans, he's not coming back. I don't believe Robert Downey Jr. is coming back either.
No, he's not.
No, he's not.
So there's a lot of them not coming back. For like the next generation of movies. So
Chris Evans did say he was open to returning, either for a cameo or for a guest appearance or something like that. He did mention that he was open to returning for that, but not to sign a full contract.
I could roll with that. I think that'd be pretty cool. But think about it. It's Avengers 4 is going to be like the super culmination of everything that we've been going through for the last 10 years. We're going to be saying goodbye to a lot of characters, in in a few months we're going to be saying goodbye to a lot of them, and the fact that we have to say goodbye to the creator of those characters, you know, it's gonna be interesting going to
It'll be
see
rough.
Avengers 4. It's gonna be rough. It's really gonna be rough. Like I've said a few times. I mean, I don't know which characters are gonna like die in
Mm-mm.
Avengers 4. Like I've always said, if it ends up being Captain America, that might be a rough one because Captain America was a character I didn't really vibe with until the movies. Like Chris Evans did a very good job in making me really like Captain America. I've said
I
enough.
It took me a
I got
couple
I got
movies, but he's good. He's cool now.
Mhm.
I got something to add to that. Where you're saying, I was talking with someone. I don't know if I said this to you guys. I can't remember, but how crazy would it be if Captain America's the one that's dying, and right before he dies, he looks at Bucky, tells him, "I'm with you," and then he says to the end of the line,
Listen,
Wow.
and then
uh,
dies.
like don't be doing that to me, man.
Man, that's gonna mess me
Don't
up. I'm
don't be
telling
doing
you.
that.
If they
Uh,
that would be the
that's the
perfect.
conspiracy theorist in him right now talking.
Cause
I'm just
That's you
saying.
talking.
cause I'm going with the theory that if Captain America is the one to go, I can imagine him meeting with Peggy Carter again, and then finally having
Mm.
that dance, and that's probably gonna be a real tearjerker. I
Oh,
can tell you
that's gonna
that
mess me
right
up.
now. That's gonna be a real tearjerker
That's
if it's him that has to go. Like I don't really imagine Tony Stark going.
mm,
I just don't really see that happening. I would. I mean, really, if you think about it, I mean, Captain America is like he's the first Avenger, so it kind of makes sense for him to be the one to.
he's so hard too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Hey, it's Harold.
Oh, Harold, he's chiming in.
Yep.
Cool. You know,
Yeah,
so.
he's been leaving some paragraphs on my channel. I just didn't get a chance to read it.
Mm,
He's been dropping
well,
some goodies.
Yeah, I usually I look, but
yeah.
I'm like triple doing stuff right now.
Well,
I'm being a woman. I'm multitasking.
do we have any comments going right now on either side?
Ren says no questions, just like listening to us talk,
Hmm.
especially today for Stanley. Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Daryl, I am not a fan of Pokemon, so I have not seen the live action Pokemon. But we are strictly sticking to Stan Lee for this
Yeah.
stream.
Stanley, yeah.
Yeah. I've said my piece on the Pokemon Detective Pikachu trailer, so you can go check that out. But we're not going to be talking about anything else. We're just as Tony said, we're focusing strictly on Stanley. That's all we're focusing
Hey man, the boss. I'm sorry Stanley died on your birthday, but happy birthday.
on.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
Mm. Mm.
No, it's
Daryl Taylor's favorite Stanley characters were the strip club scene and the casino scene from Black Panther. King
Mm,
Experience HD says rest in peace. Harold says his is ask her for your number, you on the
Oh yeah.
Avengers.
Like it.
And
Mm.
Daryl again says, I think Steve Rogers' death would have the most impact.
It most likely would. I mean, that's the way I'm looking at it. But you know, when you think of cameos, you know, a lot. I mean, you think when you think. I mean, just think about it. Like Stanley. I mean, there's a lot of cameos that he has where he doesn't say anything. He just happens to show up. Like he's done that with a lot of the X-Men movies. In fact, Spider-Man 3 was the first time he spoke in the Spider-Man trilogy. Um, he's had a few speaking roles in the Fantastic Four ones. He played the mailman in the first Fantastic Four. But you know, to see a and you have to know that he was having a blast doing this stuff. You know,
yeah. He's
he's on
yeah.
he's on set looking at characters that he created come to life,
Mm-hmm.
and he's interacting them. He's having fun with them, chit chatting it up. Shooting the breeze with them. You know he was having a blast, and I'm pretty sure the cast members were having a blast too. So that's going to be,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why I said the Marvel Cinematic Universe is probably really feeling it right now because now you know I mean, it's like, I mean, I don't really know what it's like, but it's like almost to the point where it's not like, it's like not having your father around. or not
Yeah.
having your grandfather around, the one who's done almost everything for you, and then not have that person around anymore. It's like a void that's being created.
Most people either got their big breaks or their comeback from
Yeah,
this franchise.
I
Michael
mean,
B. Jordan.
I mean, think about it. Would you have
I mean,
would you have ever thought in your life that you would see Robert Downey Jr. play a
comeback.
superhero like Tony Stark? That is like the comeback of the century.
Oh, what? You kidding me? Come back.
No.
Back up.
No. Yeah,
Given,
maybe. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, given what he was going through, I mean, yeah, he was still doing stuff, but the fact that they took a chance in casting him to play a role of Tony Stark, who
Yeah.
in his own respect is a troubled character too.
Yeah.
Tony Stark is a troubled character as well. You know, they probably could have gotten anybody to play Tony Stark, but as far as it stands,
This is a bit sidetracked, like to add to the Tony Stark thing. I said this in my Iron Man commentary video. I think it was very strong for RDJ to play an alcoholic, considering the fact that he was an alcoholic.
Exactly.
And to go on the movie and play an alcoholic, that shows strength.
Yeah.
That's a huge comeback. That's huge. Like,
Yeah, definitely.
Did Stanley cameo on Logan? I don't remember.
I don't think I remember seeing Stan Lee in Logan. I'd have to go back and watch it because I've only watched it once, so I'd have to go back and watch it again. I'm not quite sure. I mean,
Yeah, he did.
I would imagine.
Yeah,
that
he did.
You know,
He did. Okay. Stan Lee was also in Runaways.
Actually, no. Hold on. Wait.
He was a driver, right?
Was he in any other show aside from Runaways?
The Gifted.
He was on The Gifted. Okay.
I do not remember seeing him on The Gifted.
Bar. I think,
but I really only half pay attention to The Gifted.
Yeah, no. I think it was episode 1 of The Gifted where they walked in the bar and he was just walking out the door and he was just like, and he kept walking.
Yeah, I do not remember that.
But going back to like the comebacks and everything else, I was about to say the one comeback that comes to me, and he may not have had a hand in it, he may have, but from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, as far as a comeback, the one that I always see is freaking Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, I mean, after the movie that we don't want to talk about right now, after that, you know,
yeah.
And then, of course, X-Men Origins Wolverine. It's, you know, I mean, I think it was, like, I've always said before that there are just certain actors that were born to play certain characters. That's just my feel. I mean, Ryan Reynolds.
It's like we've seen a few people play Batman. We've seen a few people play Superman. It's like, I don't think anyone else can be Tony Stark.
No.
Mm.
I honestly couldn't see anybody else playing Tony Stark. And the way I see it, if Tony Stark was going to be the one to go, you would probably have to bring in, what's her, Riri Williams? Is that who it is? Is that on Ironheart?
Yeah, Ironheart. Yeah,
you would
Riri.
probably have to do something like that.
Which is a very complex thing to do because Riri is a very mixed fan reaction.
Yeah.
Very. So I don't know.
It's very 50 about her right now. So
I think they may try to focus more on Spider-Man while they still have him.
Yeah.
For now.
I don't recall seeing him in Cloak and Dagger.
I haven't seen Cloak and Dagger.
And if I'm not mistaken, he hasn't shown up in any of the Netflix series, has he?
As in pictures.
In pictures, right? Yeah.
And Jessica Jones showed up as like a buzz poster or something.
Right.
Yeah, the only one I really remember was Runaways.
Yeah. I mean, he I know. I forgot which one he showed up in as pictures. There's a couple that he showed up in certain movies and games and form of pictures. But this is a point someone else brought up earlier, is that, like, in the future, a lot of his cameos can be in the form of pictures.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So without actually having to do CGI, somebody has a wall poster or a T-shirt of Stan Lee or something, you know? I wonder if he has a plan for Into the Spider-Verse.
I wonder. That's true. And that's coming out next month, right?
coming out, and
That's coming out next month. That's correct.
Just
Yeah.
so or less than that actually.
In fact, I have a list right here of all of his cameo appearances so far. Like he's he wasn't in. I didn't realize that he wasn't in X-Men 2. I didn't realize that, and that's one of my favorite movies. But he's in the first X-Men, X-Men 3, Deadpool, X-Men Apocalypse. He was in No Good Deed, which was a short film that aired before Logan. He was in that.
Oh, okay. So that's why people think he was in Logan.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
Oh.
That would make sense why that link is there, because I could have sworn that he was, but
he also
that would make sense.
He also, Deadpool 2, The Gifted, a non-speaking cameo, the original Spider-Man trilogy, the Fantastic Four movies, the Amazing Spider-Man movies,
the library scene, Amazing Spider-Man movie.
Exactly. Hulk, Daredevil, the Daredevil movie.
What was that?
we don't talk about that one.
Yeah, we don't talk about the Ben Affleck Daredevil.
Yeah, we don't.
I will say this though, I thought Electro was worse than the Daredevil movie. I thought the Electro movie was way worse than the Daredevil movie.
Oh gosh, it was a very hard watch.
Yeah, that might have been the first movie I saw where I really wanted my money back. I was like, because we saw Daredevil. I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. Then we heard Electro was coming. I'm like, all right, this is about to be lit.
What about Blade?
Little did you know.
Blade 3?
I don't think I saw Blade 3 in the movie theaters. I didn't watch it until it came on TV.
Yeah.
Sarah says I'm surprised he didn't cameo in The Punisher. I'm not surprised that he didn't cameo in The Punisher, because he didn't cameo in any of the other Netflix shows either.
Yeah, none of the Netflix shows.
Which I wonder why he didn't.
That's a very interesting thing, also.
Yeah.
I wonder what the purpose was.
I mean, did he ever do Agents of? Was he ever in Agents of Shield?
It doesn't say that he was.
I don't think.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't watch Agents of Shield. I really tried to get into it and I couldn't.
Yeah.
Same.
It doesn't appear. It doesn't say that he appeared in anything on Agents of Shield. So I guess he skipped that one out too. But it's
And I would go and say that that's one of the most successful Marvel show.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
Well, it has 7 seasons. Like if we're going by that.
Listen.
I mean, it is the most watched though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So because they rack in millions of views every week. So
I watched the first 2 episodes and that was it for me. I couldn't do it.
I couldn't get past the second one.
I heard it got better like around the 3rd season, but I don't think I had that kind of patience to wait.
Me neither.
So I gotta watch 2 seasons.
Me neither.
Yeah, exactly. I heard it got better.
I'm the same way too, Matthew. I don't think I have the patience or the time to just sit through the first 2 seasons to get to number 3.
I don't want to sit through trash just to wait till it gets good.
Exactly. There are very few shows I got that do that for me. I think I had to struggle through the first season of Power. I thought Power kind of sucked, but I love it now.
So
can't pay me to watch that.
Huh?
Can't pay me to watch that.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that one, Kev.
We got any more comments coming through?
I actually skipped some comments, so I have to scroll up. Okay.
Someone said, "Hey, Agents of Shield ain't that bad, but you have to commit to the storyline."
No,
I don't know about that one, my brethren.
No, forget all that, man. I'm sorry.
They said. Well, this is what I did hear about Agents of Shield. Mark Killian Sigler. Sorry for pronouncing your name wrong, buddy. He said it gets better when it crosses over with Winter Soldier. That's what I heard. I heard that the movie actually takes place post Winter Soldier. I think pre and post Winter Soldier. So it actually connects canon wise to the movie. And I heard the same dude who got pushed off the same Hydra dude that got pushed off the building was actually in Agents of Shield prior to getting captured on the boat.
Okay.
So I heard that the Winter Soldier tie-in actually made it worth it, and that's what saved the show for a lot of people.
I
And then,
mean,
of course, Ghost Rider and stuff later on.
if anything, I'll probably just start from 3 and go forward. That's about it.
That's what I'm thinking too. To
That's
be
what
honest,
I'll do. I'll start from 3 and go forward. I'll read the cliff notes on the first 2 seasons. That's what I'll do.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
watch,
You're not even gonna give it the satisfaction of watching it from the beginning, just to have that dedication.
Just
Exactly.
watch the first episode.
Come on. You have to go through the dedication. I mean, I really could not stand the first Captain America, but I struggled through it so I could tie it into the rest of the movies.
Yeah, you gotta do it. Like, you can't just like half do it. You have to do it.
Maybe on when I have some off time. Maybe
That's what I'm saying.
It's on Netflix, right? It's on
Yeah.
Netflix, so maybe I'll just,
Yeah.
I can binge it, I guess.
I mean, some people trying to get me to do reactions to it, so that might be an excuse for me to actually watch it.
Yeah.
To be honest, if it's not for that, I probably wouldn't do it. To be honest.
Okay. So Harold says that he agreed with you, Kendrick, that Robert Downey Jr. really made a comeback.
Yeah.
Pretty much spot on, 100% casting on Downey.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Ryan Reynolds is that dude.
He really is Deadpool. He really.
I mean, Marvel God really smiled on him.
But like, to get that second chance though, because not a lot of people get that second chance to come back from something terrible. Like, you went from like horrible Green Lantern to Deadpool.
And I heard this coincidentally on a podcast earlier today. They were talking about the failure of John Carter, the movie. They were talking about why it failed, and Deadpool came up, and there's like, if it wasn't for the leaked footage that got leaked, the movie would have never got made.
And I remember that leaked footage.
Crazy. If the test footage didn't get leaked, they would have never even summed up a budget, because the fans were like, nah, bro, okay, this is the test footage. We need the movie now.
Yeah.
So that's good graces right there.
Just reading some celebrity tributes on an article that just popped up on my phone. This is from Bret the Hitman Hart. He says, "So long, Stan Lee. Thank you for saving my childhood and filling my head with dreams and imagination." This comes from Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. He says, "What a man, what a life. When I broke into Hollywood, he welcomed me with open arms and some very sage advice I'll take forever to heart. A true icon who impacted generations around the world. Rest in love, my friend Stan Lee." This is from AJ Lee, who says, "Thank you for giving us outsiders a place to belong." That is true story.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Let's see, Johnny Gargano, a WWE wrestler, says, "The world has always been like a comic book to me. To say his characters, his stories, and the universe he created had an influence on me would be the ultimate understatement. Thank you for the joy, the escape, and the continued inspiration." Let's see. So this is from Austin Creed, or better known as Xavier Woods, who has the channel Up Up Down Down on YouTube. He said, "Just heard about Stan Lee passing away. Sad to hear the news, but extremely happy to have had the opportunity to enjoy his work. He brought smiles, entertainment, and hope to so many hearts and minds. His characters play a huge role in who I am today. Thank you for inspiring me." This comes from Shane Helms. He says, "Simply gutted and damned heartbroken to hear about the passing of Stan Lee. He's had such an impact on my life as anyone. I started reading comics when I was very young, and I never stopped. The characters, the worlds, the universe that Stan helped create brought joy and entertainment to myself and millions of others all around this planet. Thank you for everything, Stan. You're a true icon." You know, it's this guy is like, he's really touched us all. Like, it's
the entire world, man.
I've said on many occasions that I always felt that, like, the Marvel Cinematic Universe's Captain America has been like a better Superman than the Superman we've got from the DC Cinematic Universe. Like,
definitely.
Like, if you literally put the Superman suit on Chris Evans, he would literally be the Superman we've always wanted to see in a movie. I mean, it just goes to say that, like, when you really put your heart into something, And this is why Marvel has done well so far with their movies. When you put your heart into it and not just look at the dollar signs, you can create adaptations of your favorite comic book stories that really stand the test of time.
Mhm.
It becomes a labor of love versus just labor.
Like
And that's
and like I said, I know Stan Lee was having a blast being on set with all these movies. It's your dream come true. It's like giving birth to a kid. When you give birth to a kid, like there's like all your hopes and dreams are like resting on that kid. Like when you see the characters that you wrote and drew stand in front of you, in live form, it's like there's no other feeling than you can have aside from like pure unadulterated joy.
But what's cool? What I just thought about this too. I just remembered this man sat by all the versions of these characters. Like I remember him. I remember I actually seen this episode when Lou Ferrigno was playing Hulk, and Thor came on that episode. This man was there for that, and was able to see it translate to what it is now. Do you imagine, like, you seeing it go from how minuscule it was in comparison to now?
Yeah.
And then it just transformed into what it's just crazy and amazing that he's able to just witness all these different versions of his babies, man.
Yeah.
Of his kids. It's crazy.
It's just crazy to think about. Do you have any other comments coming in at the moment?
Comments. Just Harold agreeing with Matthew, saying that Stan Lee only showed up in pictures on the Marvel Netflix shows. Daryl asking if he was in the Ghost Rider movies.
I don't think I ever seen
I don't remember seeing him in Ghost Rider, no.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing him in Ghost Rider either, so.
And saying that the only reason the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. got better was because they had the Ghost Rider character come in, and that's when everyone started watching it more.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he had a bad taste in his mouth when he saw Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
I didn't hate Iron Man 3, so...
They messed me up with the Mandarin story. That kind of tricked me up a bit because I was excited to. That's a whole other conversation, but anyway, yeah. The guy who they what's his name? I forget his name. Legendary actor, man. I forget his name. Ben Kingsley. Ben Kingsley. Yeah. When I saw him, I'm like, oh, we got the Mandarin. Okay, I mean he's not Chinese, but I'll deal with it. Okay, he looks like him. Like I'll deal with this. And then they show me this dude glowing with tattoos on his chest. I'm like, what is that? What is this? And Ben Kingsley like, oh, I'm just an actor now, I'm sorry. I'm like, I'm done with this movie, man.
Anything on the other side?
Everyone is just saying they miss him. Some people said they didn't like the Daredevil movie. Talking about how his PS4 cameo was great in Spider-Man PS4.
Now I gotta play it some more.
No, he's in Spider-Man PS4.
That's what I'm saying. Now I gotta play it some more.
I think he was one of the dudes that was at the tape. I'm not gonna spoil it. He's gonna play it. He's blessed to show how big his creations got. Someone asked if there's any news of how he died, just old age or sickness.
I believe it was I think it was cancer, wasn't it? Hold on, let me talk.
I heard some people keep telling me pneumonia, but I don't know.
Yeah, I was hearing pneumonia.
I was hearing pneumonia.
Which he had a few bouts with over the past year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pneumonia.
Kelvin Lang said Stan Lee didn't create Ghost Rider. That's why no cameo. He only cameo in the characters that he made.
Well, I guess that makes sense then. That's all right.
See if I see anything else. Someone is saying that their favorite cameo was Marjorie, how's your mother? In Spider-Man Homecoming.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, pretty much everyone is just saying they miss him and they love him. And Kermit said that much love to us and the Blerd cast.
Thank you for that.
Thank you. Much love to you as well.
Thank you for that.
And also much respect to Kermit because he said he lost both his grandparents very recently.
Oh wow!
I'm sorry.
And lost Stanley as well. So.
Man, I'm really sorry to hear that. Oh man.
So there's a few quotes if you want to end it up on some Stan Lee quotes that I found from the Observer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to read my favorite one, which I posted on my business page because I felt like it kind of it was relatable because we are all creatives, within our, whether it's on this broadcast or in our other careers. And I said, he said, I used to be embarrassed because I was just a comic book writer while other people were building bridges or going on to medical careers. But then I began to realize that entertainment is one of the most important things in people's lives. And without it, they might go off the deep end. I feel if you're able to entertain people, you're doing a good thing.
I really feel that quote, like I really do. And it's funny because considering that, our next main Geekcast is going to be about being a content creator. We spent so much of our lives growing up, being told that we should get into this field or that field, things like in a corporate office or like a doctor or like
You can't make a living doing art. You
and I'm
can't
sit,
make a living doing design.
and then it's like you gotta sit and realize, like, and what Stanley's saying is correct. Entertainment is probably one of the most important forms of art that exist out here. Everybody wants to be entertained. Every doctor,
People
lawyer,
want to escape life.
exactly. I mean, like, without entertainment, like a lot of like life would really be kind of boring. So it's just like, and that's kind of what drives me, to continue to be a content creator, to like write and try to put together fan films and things like that, is because at the end of the day, somebody's going to want to sit back and read this or watch this or listen to that and stuff like that. It's just the way it is.
I mean, it's amazing. Like with moderation, escapism can be a really good thing for you, mentally healthy for you, especially if you're like a lot of people. Like for me and other people who struggle with depression as kids, like being able to read comic books and put yourself in that world and be entertained by that and kind of distract you from life sometimes, because life just sucks sometimes.
Yeah.
And so entertainment is so important. And I forgot to mention this earlier, but I saw this in Stanley's Instagram. While he was in the army, he was known as the playwright. That was his nickname while he was doing time in the army. So
it seems very fitting.
Yeah.
So it's like I said, or like we said, it's gonna be a hard pill to continue to swallow, for a while now. When icons such as him, leave this plane of existence, it's like it just makes you wonder, it kind of makes you wonder how you're supposed to function, knowing that this person's not going to be there to like create such beautiful works of art after a while. Like I said, going back to when Michael Jackson passed away, Michael Jackson was a guy that did so much, not only for the entertainment industry, just for the world all over. And when a guy like that passes away, it's like you feel like this world doesn't feel the same anymore. I mean, we've had comic book icons before, like Steve Ditko, Bob Kane, Bill Finger, all these guys, the guys who created Superman, they've gone and passed on. He was like the last. Stan Lee was literally like the last of the comic book gods. And now that he's gone, it's just like, it's just kind of rough. Like just like you, Matthew, it's just kind of one of those things where it's like it still hasn't really like sunken in yet. But it's like, I mean, probably
it's there.
Like I guarantee, like when the
I
next
still don't believe it, man. I still don't want to accept it.
Like when I think when like the next I think it'll really hit when the next Marvel movie comes out. That's what I think. Whether it's Into the Spider-Verse or Captain Marvel or Avengers 4, it's gonna really only once those come out, then you're gonna really see the effect that it has. That's when it's gonna really hit home. You know, not even a funeral service or anything. It's when the next movie comes out. That's when it's gonna really hit home. You know,
And
so.
then at the
I
funeral,
think that's what it
everybody
is
needed
for a lot of
cosplay at
people.
the funeral.
Hmm?
Everyone needs cosplay at the funeral.
Now,
Stanley
Yeah.
loved that. I know
I
that.
was just getting ready to say
Everyone dressing up in Marvel gear.
that would probably be exactly what he wants. Like, you know, for everyone to
Mm-hmm.
cosplay. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if all the stars from the movies come in their outfits, come in their costumes from the movies,
That'd
and
be
pay
so
their
amazing.
respects. And that would be like really dope. I think that would be the dopest thing ever. But I mean, we got any other comments coming in at this moment? We can wrap this up. We went over a little bit longer than we were expecting to, but it was all for a good reason. It was definitely all for a good reason.
Anything? Nothing question related on my end.
No comments.
No, there's no questions over here either.
Yeah, just comments and.
Okay. Maybe we can read a couple of those out before we shut it
down.
The last one on this side says he had a cameo on the Spider-Man that animated series back in the 90s.
I mean, well, if we all think about it, back in the day, he used to narrate a lot of the old animated series. From I think in fact, I remember specifically he would introduce the Fantastic Four and Iron Man back when it used to come on. Back then it was the WB. And it used to come on like early Sunday morning. And he would narrate, like he would give a little like blur before the show would start. I remember that. I remember him doing that.
Mark Alon Singer said, "Did any of y'all meet Stanley in person?" Unfortunately, no, from me.
No,
I haven't.
Every time he would go to Comic-Con for me, it was the one year I couldn't go. So
I think
we were going to see him. What was that? Big Apple Con or Liberty City Con? And I think he
might have
got
bowed
sick.
out.
He canceled.
Yeah, he canceled on that one because the only reason why we were going to go to that one was just to meet him. That would have been the only reason why we would have gone.
I think that was also I think that also might have been the same weekend as the Urban Action Showcase. It was either last year or 2 years ago.
Yeah. So
I know his sickness kept a lot of things, from happening.
Yeah.
And that was one of the drawbacks to that. And it's like it was very hard to meet him. And I know a few people that have, personally, and they're posting. Like Ken said, they're posting up a lot of pictures and a lot of stuff. And I'm glad that they have had the chance to at least meet him and to know what he's actually like, and that way they can share with the world what he actually was and what he truly meant to the world.
Yeah. If we got nothing else, then we can probably wrap this up. I'll say again, like I said early in my previous video on YouTube, I want to send all my condolences and my love and support to Stan Lee's extended family. I know his daughter released a statement that I haven't read yet, so I'll probably read that at some point. I know it's a tough day for the geek world. It's a real tough day for the geek world, but we just got to remember that he gave us so much in his 95 years of life. He gave us a great deal. He's probably given us more than what he probably should have. And at the end of the day, his legacy is really going to live on for a long time. Within the comic books, anything animated, the cinematic universe, Stan Lee's stamp, his footmark is going to be left everywhere. It's really going to be left everywhere.
You mentioned that I remember that recently. I think he was saying that he still has stories to make. Even in the 95, he's saying, I still have stories that I haven't told yet that I want to tell. Can you imagine that 95 years old and you still feel like if you haven't done everything yet. You still feel like there's stories to tell. It's amazing. It's like amazing, crazy, sad, all at the same time.
Yeah. It's wild. It's really wild. But if that's all we got, then we can wrap this up. I want to thank everyone who tuned in tonight to help us pay our respects to Stan Lee, the man, the myth, the legend. the God, the comic book God. You can continue to share your post, in the comment section after this video goes up. Like with the others, the audio will be up on the podcast services later on within the week also. So definitely look out for that. Again, our next major Geekcast will be hopefully around Thanksgiving weekend, and we'll talk about being a content creator, and hopefully you guys remember your assignments. We just we just created the Facebook fan page for ourselves. It's still a work in progress, but you can definitely feel free to check us out there. You can submit whatever you want, whether it's a question, your comments, whatever you like, you can submit it there, because I know it's hard to do it through YouTube itself. So the link will be in the description box to the Facebook fan page, so you can definitely check us out. Bring as many people like it. Please please like the page. Just like it. Please pick the friends there.
Yeah.
Bring
A bit.
let's bring all the numbers. And also, if you can't catch it here on YouTube, you can definitely catch the broadcast on Facebook also. Once the Facebook page is really solidified, we'll be simultaneously podcasting live through Facebook as well. So you don't have to just rely on YouTube and Twitch. And we are also going to be in working to get our Discord together also. I know me and you have to talk, Matthew, about that. So that'll be forthcoming as well. But other than that, my name is Kendrick Grey, the Dreadlock Blerd. Thank you guys again for joining us tonight. And remember, in the words of the great Stan Lee himself, Excelsior.
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 So we'll catch you guys next time.
Right.